Hey guys, it's Horsey Steph, and we are back with part 5 of Fake Black Beauty. I hope you guys are enjoying this, and we are going to finish the movie off this time, so that's exciting. We'll get to see how it ends together. So without further ado, if you guys could go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe for future videos, that would help me out so much. If you missed the other segments of this movie, go ahead and look at the description box down below where I have linked all of these segments of Black Beauty. And let's go ahead and jump right in and see how this movie ends.
Alright, so they are at a tax store.
This would have been so exciting for me as a kid. I loved tax stores, and we did go to one once or twice, but we really don't have a lot of tax stores in the area. And honestly, since I've grown up, we have even fewer now than we had then, which is so very sad. But I would have been like a kid in a candy store here. You wouldn't have been able to contain me. I would have been all over the place, wanting to see everything, even things that I had absolutely no use for. But just being able to physically see so many leather goods as a child, that was so exciting to me. Alright, so they are here looking for a saddle. It's interesting to me that they're like 14-hand quarter horse, like that would be relevant to the saddle fit. And it makes me think that they're just going to buy an off-the-rack saddle that generally is like a wide, because that's what quarter horses generally are. And certainly something that wouldn't fit the horse properly. So that part is unfortunately quite common in the industry, but I know there is no way you're going to find a saddle that fits correctly by just going to a store and telling them you have a 14-hand quarter horse and you want an English saddle for it. If you were going to do this properly, you would be calling out a saddle fitter, or perhaps going to a store with the measurements of your horse, looking at the saddles and taking one home on trial to see if it works. But you could get lucky. I have gone to stores and just picked up a saddle that fit perfectly, but I do always go with measurements in hand, so this idea that they're going to find something perfectly without having really any idea how to fit it is not realistic, but certainly something people do regularly, and leads to a lot of chronic pain in horses because saddles don't fit properly.
Alright, so now the horse is lunging with a saddle.
They have a kind of older style English saddle with a sheepskin half pad, so pretty normal setup, and it looks like they did attempt to get this to fit the horse. It's not a new off-the-shelf saddle like I was concerned they might pick up. It is an older saddle, so I suspect that somebody had some idea of what shape and size the horse was, and then they have put a half pad on, presumably to make the saddle fit a little bit better. Beauty looks like he is going along great now, totally sound, so perfect time to get him started under saddle, and I assume that they have that clearance to do all this at this point, since enough time has passed from the injury.
That's kind of excessive swinging of the rope for lunging. I wouldn't do that just because it's getting the horse dull to the aids. But I know plenty of people that lunge by just constantly swinging the rope to keep the horse going. Alright, so now it looks like she's going to go ahead and ride.
I'm hoping that the sister has already ridden the horse, and that the sister at this point knows the horse is good and safe and well trained, because I know she is not a very good rider. It also looks like she's going to mount from the ground. She at least looks confident with that, but generally would recommend mounting with a mounting block to help save the horse's back, especially if you can't mount particularly well.
And he's gonna help her out. Oh, well, he was there ready to help her out, but then he just kind of let her fall on the ground, so I'm not really sure what his plan was there. If he's gonna help her out, he should help her out like this. That's kind of what I thought he was gonna do in the first place. Would have gone a lot better for her, but she looks super uncomfortable and just like she's not really used to riding. But he looks like he's being a really good boy, and I like how they're walking with her to make sure that she maintains control. She definitely looks really stiff and like she's trying to maintain her balance as she goes around those turns at the... And now she's cantering, and they're only showing the horse's feet, so I'm gonna suspect she doesn't actually have the skill to canter. Alright, so it looks like the vet is checking him out to make sure that he's still in good shape. It makes sense that you would have the vet out just to make sure that he's progressing well and hasn't had any setbacks with the increased workload. He looks a little stiff behind to me, like he might have sore hocks. Probably a little arthritic, but certainly doesn't look lame. Probably an older horse that starts out a little bit stiff and sore. It wouldn't surprise me if they are using an older horse for this movie. That is a really good boy, but is a little bit stiff and arthritic. But I'm glad that the vet gave the horse a clean bill of health, and that she can continue to work him and learn to ride him. That's really exciting, and definitely the proper way to do things.
Get rid of that stupid horse.
Oh my. Okay, so getting rid of the stupid horse. I get that they're having a little argument. I get that the father doesn't want the daughter to stay for the school year with her grandfather. I mean, having your child move out to live with your father is a really big deal, and I could see why as a father you wouldn't want to do that for a huge number of reasons. And I could see how that could make you upset, but lashing out and telling them to get rid of the horse like it's the horse's fault is really not fair, and that could literally ruin a relationship. As a child, my horse was my greatest love and literally what got me through high school and into college and just kept me going for so many years. And I cannot tell you the hole in my heart that was left when I had to put him down. It was devastating. I can't imagine being the person I am without my childhood horse. And if somebody had just said, get rid of him, I don't know what I would have done. I mean, he was literally my reason for existing and continuing to keep going on. It seems really callous to me to have the father say something so awful as, just get rid of the darn horse. Like, he's ruining her life when he's probably honestly saving her life.
And that's a perfectly acceptable response. I can see how she would just be so upset. That could really destroy her relationship with her father just because he acted in anger instead of having a mature conversation. So she's spending the evening with BlackBeauty after that fight with her father. It's exactly what I would do. When you feel like you have nothing else, you run to the horse. Also notice that they still don't have this actor cantering. They're still just showing someone that's headless on this horse trotting and cantering. So it wouldn't surprise me if she just doesn't have the skill, and so they used a replacement rider, and cutting off the head just makes it a little more believable that this actor is actually riding. I'm glad that the father has come to apologize and that he recognized he made a mistake, and he does so in a timely manner. Because that really was a heartbreaking thing for this girl, and I really just can't imagine being in her place in this moment. And now they've made an agreement where she's going to keep Beauty here and just come back for the summers, which is a fair negotiation. She's still going to live with her parents during the school year and go to school like normal. Again, seems like a very fair agreement and something I don't think my parents ever would have let me do, to move away for the summer every single summer until I graduated. Alright, so they are at the 4-H show and there are a lot of horses, primarily in Western gear, which is normal as 4-H is primarily a Western show. It's interesting that she's dressed Beauty up with a purple saddle pad and purple polo wraps. I don't think you would use this even in 4-H, because you just don't show in color, you show in white. I wonder if they put her in purple just so it was a little more obvious to us which one she was. I've never had a judge go around and talk to me at a show. That just really never happens, but maybe that's a 4-H thing? That seems much more like a pony club thing where they want to talk to you because they're really testing how much you know versus how you actually perform that day.
So I understand he's a rescue?
And the judge has no business knowing whether your horse is a rescue or not. It should have absolutely no bearing on how you perform. This test is also really interesting that it's all performed at a walk. You're circling, you're stopping, but maybe that's more like a Western horsemanship kind of class. I don't know, I'm really not familiar. It is interesting to me that she is the only one in the purple. Everyone else is in a typical show hunter outfit. So I am guessing they did this just to make it more obvious to us who she was. That girl looked like she was having a hard time sitting that trot there. Somehow she's now in the arena all alone doing her work and mostly at the canter. I don't know why they filmed it this way. Seems like it would be easy enough to put all the horses in the class doing the work, but who knows, maybe that was difficult. Alright, so now they have other riders in the class, although they do seem to be filming them all individually, so I'm not sure why they're doing that, but it must be a preference that it's just easier to film that way. That's something really any rider knows how to do. Alright, so now they have all the riders out on the rail, so maybe that was some weird different kind of class where they all went individually? I have literally never seen that, but maybe that's a thing at 4-H. Like I said, I don't have a lot of 4-H experience. This is much more normal. Everyone's out on the rail doing their own thing, and then they line up at the middle. But they only did it at the walk, which makes me think they did have some issues filming. I'm not sure why, because it's a very normal thing to do. Alright, so now they're saying the sun has spooked him and he's taken off. I do think they've portrayed that decently, but I don't understand how the horse would suddenly spook at the sun. Like, the sun didn't just appear randomly. I'm not sure why she's getting off now, because he seems totally calm. I could have seen her getting off during the spook and doing like an emergency dismount, but I'm not sure why she would get off when he's already seems like he's calmed down. I appreciate that she's putting the horse first, even though she did get disqualified from the competition. So that element I really do like. I do really appreciate the sentiment of, we did what we came here to do, and it doesn't matter that I had to get off. Because she still got there, and she was able to do so much more than, she originally thought he was going to be able to do. However, again, I don't understand why she got off when he was completely calm and everything seemed okay. And for a horse that spooks at the sunlight, he seems completely calm with all these rowdy kids around him. So, doesn't really add up. I'm glad to see Beauty is now outside, not locked in that stall and paddock, and getting to enjoy being a horse. But if he's been outside being a horse, how did he spook at the sun? Seems much more likely something else spooked him in that unfamiliar environment. I mean, for a horse that potentially has never shown, that could be really scary, and something could have surprised him and caused him to spook like that, even if it's uncharacteristic of him. I love seeing horses running and having fun in turnout. It really makes me happy because I know so many horses just don't have that freedom. I don't know why she's running after him like he was running up to say goodbye to her or something, because he clearly isn't. Oh, and he jumped right out of the field. Oh, okay. Again, the whole premise of him trying to catch up to her, I don't really understand, because she was running to get to him and he was running away from her. But I guess the idea is that he saw her leaving and he started running down the fence and jumped out to get to her, which is a nice sentiment. I can't imagine a horse actually doing that in real life, but sweet sentiment.
So I hope you guys enjoyed that. I love the message. It's how I approach showing. It's not about the result so much as about improving the horse and having fun with your horse. Really just a good heartwarming tale. I do love a good classic heartwarming ending to a movie. Anyway, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what else I should react to. And if you have any suggestions for how I can make these videos more enjoyable for you. I will see you all tomorrow. Bye.